Good afternoon and welcome to CNC in the AEC. I'm Crystal Pierce with FFKR Architects.
And I'm Cassie Wells with Modern Business Development. We are here in the CCS Presentation Systems Collaboration Corner using our hot new Audio Technica mics.
We are here celebrating a brand new day. Well, we're pretending it's a brand new day, obviously, with my
We changed in the bathroom.
new shirt
We
on.
just recorded
that
episode
I
1.
just took from Cassie.
We're pretending we're a week wiser, but we're actually not. It's been about
Yes,
5 minutes.
but we knew some of you were pretty smart and new.
Yeah.
We're just going to say it.
So I gave her the shirt off my back.
Episode 2.
Meeting etiquette. Inviting, scheduling, and
And
paying.
paying. How do we do this correctly in the business development world?
Should we add our disclaimer?
Yes, we need
That
to
we
add
aren't
a
like the end all
disclaimer.
be all?
Okay.
That we have opinions doesn't mean ours are right, doesn't mean there are other ways to do things. In our
Exactly.
experience, for efficiency and respect, these are the things that we believe in. If you don't believe in it, that's okay, and don't hit up our DMs.
Exactly. We're not claiming to be experts,
No,
but
these are things, the things that we talk about on this podcast are things that Crystal and I talk about just on the phone or in a break room or in a meeting, just when we were frustrated. Oh my gosh. Different stories of horror stories, if you will. Yeah,
and they're just tips and tricks that through our years of doing business development, we found that have worked
for us.
and that are successful.
For
So,
us. Yeah.
yes, I think that is a good way to start.
Okay. Then
So,
let's dive in.
um,
So let's start with
meetings.
inviting. Okay.
When you are the person that is trying to schedule a meeting with someone
Yep.
that you want to get in front of,
Yep.
there are certain things that the main goal is always to make it easy on the other person.
That is the number one goal. Is what I'm doing, how I'm saying it, is it making it easier on someone or is it adding a headache? Right?
Right.
So you always want to make it easier. You want to make it so easy that all they have to reply to the email is yes.
And the reason that we wanted to discuss this topic specifically in our first official, I guess, podcast is we've moved jobs.
Mm-hmm.
We have new roles
Busy
and new
season.
companies.
Yep.
So we have been scheduling a lot of meetings and we've been noticing certain things. So I think that when sometimes you do want to schedule a meeting with somebody, if you get whether it be an email or a LinkedIn message, if you get a message and it just says, "Hey, we should grab coffee sometime."
Or hey, maybe we should meet up. That is so wishy-washy.
Crickets.
Yeah, no one's going to reply to that.
That
If you're like, man, no one's replying to my messages on LinkedIn. Are you being clear? One thing that I always do when someone reaches out to me on LinkedIn, I give them my email because my email is my to-do list and my LinkedIn is still technically it's social media, right? It's on my off time. So, um that's the quickest way to get it moved to the top of the list is, hey, here's my email address. I mean, that's something I do. That's if someone does that to me, that's where I move the conversation. Now they're on my running to do. So
right.
I think that's really important. I think when you reach out to someone, instead of the wishy washy, be very clear about time and purpose, right? Is it, I want to meet up with you for just 15 to 20 minutes? Can I buy you a cup of coffee 15 to 20 minutes on this date? Tell me where you will be in the valley, right? Always make it easy for them. You don't want them to drive 30 minutes to give you 15 minutes of their time. That's almost disrespectful in itself.
So I think knowing ahead of time too, when you are wanting to schedule a meeting with someone, knowing either where their office is or where they live. So asking them, where do you want to meet, near your office or near your home?
And I normally lead with, hey, I'm coming from this part of the valley into this part of the valley during this time period. What works best for you so that they know they have an idea of where I'm at they have an idea that they can express where they're coming from, where they're heading to, and you want to hit them on their way to work, right? So, especially if it's a coffee. If it's lunch and they're coming from their office and going back to their office, go meet like no more than 10 minutes from their office.
And I'm the type too that if I am trying to schedule a meeting with somebody, I am going to email them dates first. Like, I don't want to try to make it inconvenient on them where they have to dig through their calendar to find
To
when they
cross
can
check.
meet. Like, I'm going to say, "Hi, I would love to meet with you. I would love to discuss how we might be able to partner together, how we can help each other. I am free on these dates, this time. Are you available then?" Because then they're not having to also then go through their account, because the chances of them getting back to you, if you're not sending them dates, times, places, I mean,
It's
they're
so
not
much
going to.
easier if she were to say, "Hey, Friday at 10 or Monday at 1." It's so much easier for me to, if I'm on my phone, which a lot of us are, instead of having to cross check with my email, put my email up, put the calendar up, get the email, all that stuff. It's so much easier for me if someone gives me like 2 or 3 dates to where I can go look and be like, yep, first one works, second one works, third one works. And then I can reply immediately. Whereas if, hey, what are you free in the next few weeks? Well, gee, I don't know, 30 minutes here, now or there. Like it's going
Hmm.
to be, I don't want to have to go back and forth. And then I forget, was that Thursday or Friday? I got to go back between my apps. I don't like that. My brain
Right.
doesn't work that way.
So make it convenient, set a purpose, set time. Then once you have the meeting set, please send a calendar invite.
Quickly.
Yes.
Most of the time, this does get
That's
done. Most of the
most
time,
of
it
the
gets
time.
done.
Yes.
Unfortunately, by the time a date is selected, let's say Crystal's setting a meeting with me and I say, yes, 10 a.m. will work. If she waits till, let's say, the next day, 2 business days to send a calendar invite, 10 a.m. no longer
I've already
works
scheduled another meeting because I forgot about it. If you waited
because
2
it's
days to
not on the
send that calendar
calendar and
invite, I
someone else
forgot.
has asked for availability and
Yes.
it shows open on your calendar.
Yep.
When you're booking a ton of meetings, which happens in business development, back to back meetings, you forget which availability you've offered people. And
Mhm.
so book it right away. Get on their calendar before someone else does. That's my suggestion.
I completely agree with that. So calendar invite, get it on there. And then here is my number one rule, our rule actually for both of us. If you are the person inviting someone to the meeting, I don't care what it is, you're paying. There's an exception to that rule though.
There
But
is an exception.
we have found that. But
Yeah,
if you invited the
yeah.
person, you need to be paying. That's it. But
I'll hit you with a story. And
unless
this happens all the time. More often than not, this is what happens to me. If it's a coffee shop I'm going to where I've never been there before, I always like to go a little early. What if the parking's funky? I want to make sure I have a table to make it easier, right? So if you're the one that did the inviting, get there a little bit early if you can. We all have crazy mornings, but if you can get there early, get a spot. And then I feel weird sitting at a coffee shop, having not purchased a coffee, so I will buy my coffee, sit down, get my table, set up my
Mhm.
station, get my laptop. I'm home now, right? This is my home. I live here. Now, when my person walks in, I get up, I walk over, and I buy them a coffee.
Yes.
And then my seat
Yes.
is saved.
Exactly.
That's what I do.
We have ran into some situations though where the other person insists on paying and won't let you pay. Oh, no, no, no,
Actually,
I got it. But
yeah,
then we always feel like you still then need to offer again.
yeah.
You have to try to pay twice.
Yeah, we'll give you an example. Okay, you invited me out, so you should probably be paying.
Yes.
Okay, we go to checkout. I grab
Yes.
the bill.
Hmm.
I got it.
No. I invited you. I pay. That's what would happen.
And I would say, it's okay.
Nope.
I
I
insist.
insist.
I got it.
Then that's okay.
If it's a double, insist.
Yes.
That's my rule.
Yes. But for some reason, I feel like not everyone knows necessarily meeting business development etiquette.
Yeah, and
And
that
I
is
mean,
one that's important.
it should be, I feel, simple scheduling a meeting, but sometimes it can take days and emails going back and forth and back and forth. And all of us, I mean, our time is really valuable and we don't have time to be sending 45 emails to set up a 30-minute meeting. So I think if from the beginning you have your intent and simple, send time, send purpose, it should be a very quick thing.
Crystal, are you busy right now?
I'm very busy,
Very busy.
very busy.
I have found right now everyone is
Is busy.
very busy.
What happens when you go um, to a meeting and you sit down with somebody and you say, "How are you?" What do they say?
Oh my gosh, I'm slammed right now.
I'm so
I'm so
busy.
busy.
I'm so busy, right?
Yeah.
So we
No
need to
one's
be,
ever like,
I
hey, you got 2 hours for this
we
coffee?
need to
I'm
be
so bored.
very considerate to everybody right now. So just trying to make everyone's life a little easier. And when it comes to a meeting, I think we can do that just by knowing the tips.
Yeah.
BD etiquette.
And one thing I like to do when I sit down with someone, especially if they are super busy, like everyone is right now, and let's say I booked a coffee for 20 minutes, I buy them their coffee. We sit down at the table and I say, all right, we have 19 minutes left. I just want to make sure I still have you till 8:30. Does that work for you? Normally they say yes. Otherwise they wouldn't be there.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then be super respectful. Glance at your watch. Oh man, we got 2 minutes left in your coffee. I want to make sure you finish in time. Let's go ahead and wrap up. That isn't being rude. It's actually, in fact, being proactively respectful. That's how I
And
feel.
something, because Cassie and I have gone to many meetings together, and something that we always like to end our meetings with is we always say to the other person, "How can we help you?"
Yeah. And I think oftentimes when you're the person inviting someone who could probably help you more than you could help them, that question is so important because you never know how you could help an individual. Your biggest client might be the one client they've been trying to get in with.
Mm-hmm.
So, regardless of your role, regardless of where you're at in the process, right, the project process, always try to see where you can provide someone else value. I was recently out with a buddy of mine, Justin. Had not seen him in years and years. And had a great catch up, talked about our lives, talked about the all the years we missed, right? And one thing that he did was he said, "How can I be impactful for you?" Which like hit me deep in my feels, right? Because it's one thing to ask, how can I help you? Which I
Mm-hmm.
love. We've always been pretty big on that. But to be impactful, that almost gives a broader perspective of, oh, these are the things I need right
Right.
now.
Yeah.
It just like hit me a little deeper. And maybe because I was so used to how can I help you?
Right. I love that. Like a different way.
Yeah, it just seemed
And I fully
bigger.
believe that we can all help each other. There's always a way.
I
Even
agree.
if my company maybe can't help your company, we can somehow, I can connect you to someone who can. So,
That rings so true. There's
mhm.
so many people that, I'm meeting with this person. Do you want to join? And I don't know that they could help me. I'm like,
Um, I'm like, no.
how do you know that?
Yeah.
You
Yes.
never know people's individual connections, their business connections, their experience.
Right.
And again, one thing that I think is lost on a lot of people, not necessarily just in BD, but in all of business, is any of these transactions. The root of all business is people.
Hmm.
It is people. And so when you have that perspective, when you think to yourself, man, I don't know that this person could help me, that's fine, but that's still a person. That's how I feel. And
Right.
so I always try to put myself in their shoes and just try to maintain a different perspective. But that's why if you are the person you realize like they can help me about 100 times more than I can help them, then try to
Yeah.
help them. Try to
Yes.
bring them value. Try to make it easy on them. Try to make it a pleasant experience. Buy their coffee, be respectful of their time, meet in their area. It
Yeah.
all adds up to you want them to walk away and be like, man, it's a really good experience. I'm
Hmm.
glad I met that person. I'm glad I went through with it because I kind of didn't
Yes.
want to,
Right.
which happens.
And I mean, in the end, there's always the appropriate and respectful follow-up, but that's a different
We have a
podcast. So,
whole podcast on
yes,
follow-up.
lots of different things.
Um, one thing I think is pretty important is if, let's say you're meeting with someone important, let's call them ABC individual, okay? And you're out with a different individual and they say, man, I've been really trying to get in with ABC individual. I have a coffee with them. But before you invite the second individual to your coffee, it is totally respectful and important to ask the person who you initially invited for permission.
Oh, of
You
course.
don't want to just bombard them.
Right.
Hi, here's me and my 3 closest business
Mm-hmm.
friends. You always want to ask permission.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know? That's how I feel.
Yeah.
Because otherwise it's like, oh, whoa, I didn't know this is what this was going to be. And all of a sudden someone feels sold. Like,
Yeah, I
oh,
agree.
you're going to sell me something? My wall
Yes.
goes up. Don't talk to me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
So,
But I have loved all my meetings recently.
yes.
So I have to personally thank all of you for meeting with me over the last month because I've met with a lot of you. It's
Yeah,
been lovely.
it has been.
Yeah.
Yeah, been great
Yeah.
experiences, especially reconnecting,
Mm-hmm.
because you view all of these relationships in a different light when you're in a different realm, which, you moved from one area to another, I moved
Right.
from one area to another,
Yeah.
company-wise,
Yeah.
and it's really cool seeing how we can help folks in our new role,
Yeah.
whereas maybe we couldn't before.
Exactly. I love it.
So,
I love it.
yeah, when you're meeting with folks, just focus on how you can provide them with value. There are a couple topics that are other podcasts. One of them is being late or canceling or rescheduling. So
Mm-hmm.
you're going to want to stay tuned for those. Those are totally different
Yes.
topics.
And I also do want to mention if there are any of you in particular that are interested in being a guest on our podcast, please reach out to either one of us because we'd love to talk to you.
Remember in the beginning of this episode when we're like, oh man, we're not perfect. We're not perfect. And we have some folks that we're going to invite and we haven't even invited them yet. So, yeah, I just felt like I needed
We're
to
like,
give a confession
we have a
by the
whole
fact
list of
that,
people
yeah,
that we have you on our list and we haven't invited you yet.
yeah,
So we're
you're
like, oh,
showing up
our
on our
meeting
podcast.
etiquette.
You just don't know it
Yeah,
yet.
our meeting etiquette's kind of bad because
Actually, that does spark something really good for me. Yeah, because the people we want, of course, are busy,
yeah,
like all of us. But
we're coming for you.
that does spark a thought. One thing I want to know is don't be afraid to book people out. So if you ask for, I mean, let's say it's mid-February and you ask for a meeting and they're like, oh, I'm so busy right now. Cool.
I'll see you in December.
Book them in May. Book them in June. Book them whenever, just so that you're on their calendar and they
Yeah.
will see it come up and they can either reschedule at that time or hold
Mm-hmm.
tight. But that's something that I think people are afraid to do.
Yeah.
I don't mind booking a couple months out. I
No, of
really
course
don't.
not.
Because it's either now or never.
At least it's on there.
Yeah, like at least it's on there. At least it's done. You can cross it off your list,
Yeah.
right? So I don't know.
Yeah.
That's how I feel. Don't be afraid to book out, especially the busy people.
Yes.
Cool.
So we hope that we see you all in some meetings
With
if you
great
schedule them
etiquette.
correctly.
Yeah.
We'll meet you.
Yeah. Yeah, it's all a test now.
Yeah, it
We're gonna see
is.
who listened to the episode
Exactly.
2.
So we'll see you soon.
Are you gonna chow this one? Is that a thing, or was that
Ciao,
only the? Okay, there we go. There
Bella.
it is.
Ciao, Bella.
Boom.